This is Adam Gorney, Rivals.com, here with Florida State coach Mike Norvell. And Mike, signing day 2.0, February. Do you like the 2 days? Do you wish it was just one? How do you kind of go through this here?
It's definitely a new dynamic, and it's one that as we work through, the early signing date is kind of the big focus of where we're putting a lot of the attention. You'll be able to get those guys that have secured their opportunity here at Florida State. That's a big day of celebration. Now with some of the things with the transfer portal and guys starting school there in January, really being able to look at where your numbers are. We have 23 additions into our football team that have begun here this spring, and excited about that group. And there'll be a few more additions as we move forward, but you really it is a much different scope than what we've been used to over the years. But definitely exciting time with guys we have coming in.
In December, you signed some guys later in the day. We talked to you earlier in the day. We didn't get to talk about them. So I just kind of want to go over them. Azariah Thomas, who is a kid who we loved during the high school years, kind of flew under the radar a little bit, but a long, athletic guy. How do you envision using him? There were definitely other schools involved here. He kind of got to you late, and how did that kind of work out?
Yeah, Azaria, I think, is a special talent. I mean, he's great length. He's going to come in, and his primary focus will be on the defensive side of the ball. We're going to start him off at corner. Think that he's somebody that can bring a unique dynamic with his size, his athleticism, his ball skills that he brings. Is a kind of a two-way threat there in high school, and we think that could be something that he develops into in his time here at Florida State. But just a tremendous young man. Who he is on the field, the explosive player, the dynamics which he brings. You couple that with the type of young man he is off of it. I think it was an absolute home run addition to this roster, and something that we think will have a chance to be able to help make an impact early in his career.
Something you've had to do during your first few years there is kind of rework that offensive line. Julian Armella is a big addition to that. Big athletic legacy kid. Getting him in the class, what did that mean to you guys?
It was huge, and it's a big point of focus. I know we had talked about it, earlier in the day there on Sunday, that you saw the emphasis in the offensive line, the bigger bodies, the athleticism. It's something that we have made a great commitment to. We've also been able to add a couple of transfers here to the team that have started in January. But Julian, he was a key target for us, and I would say when I first got the job here, he was somebody that we were aware of. That we started building that relationship, and it really all came together. And when he announced and signed that evening, it was big for our program. He's somebody that has an unbelievable upside and a great ceiling, and we're looking forward to seeing how his growth and development is going to progress, because he also has those skills where he could come in and be able to make an early impact at a challenging position to play early. But I think that he has that type of talent.
Part of the early signing period is it's become almost commonplace for a lot of guys that sign then to enroll early. You get them on campus, you get more weeks with them to work. Who are some of those guys that you said, wow, this guy is ready to kind of make an impact here, and we've really liked what we've seen so far?
I think it's twofold. I mean, you look at a guy like Daniel Lyons, as an incoming freshman, that your defensive tackle, great size, great speed. His athleticism is something that's really stood out here early. Even in the first month of workouts, is a guy that we think has a real opportunity that's ahead. You sit there and you go with some of the other newcomers. Sam McCall. I mean, he was somebody that came in with a great I guess a great awareness of his athleticism, but to see him come in and just making that transition. Excited about what he brings. Omar Graham there at linebacker, is great movements, the awareness, the relationships, all those things that come as a true freshman that comes in starting in spring. Very mature young man, and what the dynamic he's bringing. Daughtry Richardson is a young offensive tackle that I'm excited about, just seeing his length, his size, the way that he moves. AJ Duffy, I know we talked a lot about as a quarterback coming in. He's already pushing probably 228 pounds, but is flying around the football field. And, obviously we haven't had a whole lot of opportunities with him throwing, I mean, that's other than their player led stuff, but we're excited about what his spring is going to be. And so glad to have him here early.
I know it's been talked to death, but it really has kind of transformed recruiting in a way, the transfer portal. You have accessed it to your benefit in a huge way. I think in a lot of ways you've added pieces that are really important, can kind of come in and contribute early. How are you using it intentionally to do that? And how do you kind of see this moving forward as really a part of recruiting and college football?
It still comes down to the right fit. And, you saw last year, guys like Jermaine Johnson who came in and just, made such an incredible impact for our team. Kier Thomas, Jermaine was the player of the year, defensive player of the year in the ACC, and now has put himself in a position, he's doing remarkable things there at the Senior Bowl already here this week. And, but you find the right fit. And if you are able to address certain needs, I'm so excited about the youth that we have within our team. We're still a young team. We have, I think, 7 seniors going into this next year. But to be able to couple the young talent that we have, and even with some of the experience of bringing in guys that have had that college production, that want to come in and be a part of a program to where they can make an extraordinary impact, as a player, but also as a leader, and helping continue along the process and getting our program back to where we all desire it to be. And that's what's been fun, is just being able to see these guys come together, and the additions within the portal that a guy like Jared Verse was a very sought after defensive end. You can point to them, the experiences and the productivity, and how we've been able to get the right guys and to be able to mesh together to make this team and their experience the best it could possibly be.
I know another topic that we just constantly talk about, but it is kind of really changing the way recruiting works and the way kids envision it is NIL, and just how that's going to work. Your vision on how that has played into college football, and maybe how everyone involved in the sport needs to maybe get their hands around it before it gets pretty wild here.
I think it's probably already gotten pretty wild in some of the situations that you hear about. But for us, it really is. I'm excited that student athletes get a chance to benefit off their name, image, and likeness. It's a good thing for them. The experiences that they get to have, and just the educational part of it as well. But we're all still working through it, and it is definitely a new age in college football. But we're excited about the things that we have in place and the opportunities that are ahead for all our guys here at Florida State.
If only that was allowed at Central Arkansas when you were there, right? I mean, it would have been incredible. You would have had a second home. Right?
I tell you what, I've probably had some different opportunities, but it is definitely a great time for college student athletes. But it's different for sure.
Sure. That is Florida State coach Mike Norvell here with Adam Gorney for Rivals.com.